Hey guys, 3D Gamer back again. Today I'm going to show you this classic retro system that I brought back up with me whenever I visited my family at Thanksgiving. Still got stuff down at their place, so I'm bringing it up bit by bit. This is the Colecovision video game system. Now, Coleco did develop some games for the Atari 2600. They were known, they ported Donkey Kong, and they made a few other games. I'm not sure every game that they made for the 2600. A little bit before my era. Actually, this system was made, I believe, in 1982, which means it predates me by 2 years. So it's 2 years older than me, and it's 30 years old. I got this system when I was 9 years old. I had a friend who used to get a bunch of classic systems at yard sales or whatnot, and well, his mom liked to take his stuff and give it away, so I secretly acquired this from him. The only thing that pisses me off is he kept Q*bert because he thought maybe some other system would play it, and Q*bert was my favorite game that he had. And I can understand, once you realize what this is, this expansion slot right here, and I'll get into that a little bit later, but you can understand why he thought that maybe another system would play Q*bert. But I guess I'll just show you the system. Something you don't really understand or really see, I don't know if the video really does it justice, is just the size of this thing. It's pretty big, and I'll show you a comparison right here. This is an original model Xbox 360. I'll put it up and line it up with the Coleco, and as you can see, it's a pretty big system. As far as the width of it, it's thinner than most modern systems, and part of the reason it's so big is it has these these little controller slots to hold the controllers, and the controller's been broken since I got the system, so I've had it for 19 years. So, and I also haven't cleaned the system. If you notice, it's like there's someone spilled a drink in there years ago. Pretty nasty, and one of these days I'll clean it up. But this is the Coleco controller. It's about standard for the day. You got the number pad here to select your game types, buttons on the side, and I'm really bad with retro joysticks. I was raised in the era of the D-pad, so I'm not as good at this. Actually, I find that if I use my left hand to press the buttons and my right hand to steer or move, it's actually more accurate for me for whatever reason. And here is the Coleco's AC adapter. You don't really, again, this video doesn't quite do it justice of just how massive this thing is. If you're going to put it on a power strip, you got to clear some room. And just to show you an example, this is a Super Nintendo power AC adapter, and it fits right on there. Comparatively, looking exactly just how big they are by comparison. This thing is huge. And again, I'll get into this. You plug in an expansion module to this, and I have, actually it came with the expansion module, so you plug that in right there, and aside from making it even more massive of a system, you retro gamers know what this module does. For you people that aren't familiar, I'll put it like this. Imagine that Sony released like a CD or a drive add-on to PlayStation Move that allowed you to play Nintendo Wii games. And this module here allows you to play Atari 2600 games, and I'm not sure how they got away with it, because this is an official module released by Coleco, and I don't know if there was a lawsuit. I assume there would have been, but if you can see, grab a 2600 game here, Asteroids, plug it right into the system, and you can use your Coleco controllers with the Atari 2600 game. And it's just sort of an interesting feature. Aside from piracy, I'm not sure if there's ever been, a way to play competitors' games on a system, like with the modded Xboxes and stuff that people have nowadays. So it's just kind of weird. It's one of those interesting facts of gaming history. And if you look, it's got the same controller slots as the Atari, and the same ones later used on the Sega Genesis. And I believe you can actually use a Genesis controller with most of these retro consoles. I'm just always weary of doing it. I don't know, might be some power difference between each system, and yeah, it's really dirty and nasty in there. And another system I acquired recently from a friend. He owed me money, and he's been going on a retro binge. He's been buying systems and all this stuff, and so he let me have this one as payment. This is a Atari 7800, and it is also backwards compatible with the Atari 2600. Controller ports, select and reset your game type and all that. And so he let me have it, and he let me have all the games he had for that and the 2600. And I guess I'll show you. Here's the 7800's controller. Again, I'm not very good with joysticks, and due to age, maybe some of them aren't quite as accurate as they used to be, or it's probably just operator error. So, and here's some of the games. I'll start out with the 7800, and I don't have all of them. I realized that I forgot a few of them down there because I was playing the systems down at my family's house, and I forgot to pack up a few of the games. I think one that I remember particularly is Food Fight, I believe. I believe it's called Food Fight. Again, I'm not too familiar. But we have Dig Dug on the 7800. It's a really good port of the game. Pole Position 2. Karateka. At least I think that's how you pronounce it. I probably mispronounced it, but Centipede. Asteroids. And Baseball. I also have Hat Trick on the 7800, but I think that's packed away somewhere. Now for the 2600, I have Space Invaders, which was a huge killer app for the Atari at the time. I mean, you have to understand because previously it was only available in the arcades, and you have to understand the era of gaming where arcades were king, and to have something ported at home, you don't have to put a quarter into it to play it, and it was just a big killer app for Atari at the time. I have Smurf. This one I've actually had since I got the Coleco, because it's the only game I had that played through the expansion slot. Mario Bros. Mario. Superman. I don't really know what's going on in this game. I should probably look it online to see what the point is, because really can't figure it out. Just, I don't know. Something you gotta learn, I guess. Yar's Revenge. Frogger. Combat. 2600 version of Asteroids. Pac-Man. And oh yes, E.T.
Everyone knows E.T.'s the worst game ever made. They've always known that.
Actually, E.T. didn't get the limelight for the worst game ever made, as far as I remember, until, I want to say, 2003, 2004 issue of EGM, where they spotlighted the worst games of all time, and then it sort of came back into the limelight. Most people don't remember this era, especially, younger people, even from my generation. So we wouldn't really have known about E.T. and how it supposedly crashed the market, but I think the market was probably ready to be crashed anyways. And if you look at it, what came out of it, Nintendo came, Atari went down, Nintendo came up, and revolutionized gaming as far as we know. Now, I also have Donkey Kong on the 2600. I just don't have it up here with me. I think I left it down there. For the Colecovision itself, we have a Zaxxon, a good retro shooter made by Sega. It's just kind of interesting how you have both Sega and Nintendo games on systems before they were competitors. You have Venture, which is kind of an adventure game. You go through like a little dungeon setup, get keys and some other stuff. Not exactly like Zelda, but it has elements that were later used in games like Zelda. I mean, it's nothing comparable to Zelda. Zelda was revolutionary. It's just there were some games that had certain elements before Zelda was ever released. It's just kind of one of those interesting things about gaming history. Donkey Kong Jr., which, this sticker here has been ripped off since I got it, but it's a good port of the game. I suck at this game. I really do. But I like it. Donkey Kong, which is arguably the best port of its time. I mean, later you had stuff like the Nintendo, which were more powerful, but, and I'm not going to get into retro fanboy arguments. Well, I think the 7800 version, or I don't even know if there was a version of 7800, but, you know, it's just interesting. But it was a good version. I think it's reversed, though, from the arcade version. You have Cosmic Avenger, which I guess it's kind of like a retro shooter, shoot-'em-up type game. It's not bad. And I couldn't find it. I have this little game called Space Panic, which fun little game. You're a guy climbing ladders and stuff. You dig holes and make enemies fall through, and just avoiding enemies. And it's a fun game, but I can't find it. It's packed away somewhere. And so there you have it. That's my Colecovision 2600 and 7800 collection, at least for the most part. And spotlight, just a quick spotlight on the systems. You know, I could have gone more in depth, but I didn't really do much research for this video.